Hi everybody, welcome to the finals and closing ceremony of the Sahamati Account Aggregator Hackathon 2020. I can't believe this day is finally here. It's something which we've been looking forward to for a long time, working towards for a long time, and to see it come around is actually a great feeling. I'm really excited for the presentations today. I'm really excited and grateful for all the support we've had throughout this event from all the participants, as well as the sponsors, judges, mentors, everybody who's come, signed in, watched the video. It's been amazing, and we hope that today will live up to your expectations. Before I dive in, I'd like to just talk a little bit about the account aggregator framework and recap, why we're doing this and kind of what we hope to achieve here. So the account aggregator framework is a new addition to India's public digital infrastructure. As many of you know, it will change the way that individuals and businesses manage and use their data. It will give them greater access, transparency, and control over their data, specifically their financial data to begin with, but in the future, other kinds of data like healthcare and personal data as well. And it will hopefully enable these individuals and businesses to attain greater financial inclusion and to effect more economic productivity. So in short, we're really excited and optimistic about this framework, and we hope that this hackathon and this event will be a watershed moment in the development of this framework. So before we dive into the final presentations, I'd like to give a little bit of a review of the hackathon to kind of show what we've accomplished so far. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll get into that. So let me know if you can see my screen. Oops. Yep, looks like you guys can see it. Awesome. So, this is the hackathon, and we had amazing support from our sponsors and from Devfolio. Here are some numbers at a glance. So 1,450 people opened the application to participate in the hackathon. 764 people completed that application, out of which 618 people were accepted. 541 people RSVP to the hackathon on Devfolio, indicating that they will attend. And in the end, 372 people from 85 teams checked into the hackathon across 9 time zones. So in like startup VC lingo, we had a D30 retention of 26%. I couldn't help but throw some cheesy joke in there. We think it's quite impressive, the number of people that actually followed through to the end. This is the timeline of the hackathon. Work began on 4th June. That's when we started conceptualizing this. Applications closed on June 28th. Accepted participants were notified on July 1st. The opening ceremony was on July 4th. The first botched round of presentations was on 1st August, but we finally got the presentations over the line on 8th August, and today is the last day and closing ceremony, 9th August. So it feels like 17,000 years ago that we started conceptualizing this hackathon and opened the applications, but we're finally here. So what were our objectives when we were doing this? Our objectives were to drive awareness of this new infrastructure, educate people about the intricacies of the account aggregator framework, generate hype around this new ecosystem, foster innovation on top of the specifications, and engender a sense of community from across the spectrum in the startup world and tech world. So our internal objective was to get 20 decent projects. I'm really excited and proud to tell you guys that we got 46 submissions after a month-long hackathon, which were all of incredible quality. So we're really, really happy about that and super grateful to all of you for making this happen. So in terms of participation, we had students, from IITs to local engineering colleges. We had startups from fledgling companies to established fintech leaders like Capital Float, Kaleidofin, and PaisaBazaar. We had big corporates like NSDL. This hackathon resulted in the creation of at least 3 new companies. So we wish all of them well and are excited to track them going forward. And we also had masterclasses by, market participants such as HDFC Bank, TransUnion, Sybil, and Bain & Company. So in terms of awareness and hype, we had 2,700 registrations on AirMeet throughout the course of this hackathon, almost 10,000 views on YouTube, and infinite LinkedIn requests for me, basically. The most viewed video on YouTube was India Stack's role in building new credit products by Arvind Kapil, Group Head of Retail Lending at HDFC Bank. In terms of education and innovation, we had 24 masterclasses, 26 judges, 5 API sandboxes, 5 mentors, 4 upgrades to the AA specs that were proposed, 3 legal sessions on the AA framework, which was super detailed and helpful, And our most popular masterclass, according to a poll which we did, was called Open Banking Use Cases from the EU and Beyond by Lars Markel. So I'd like to just shout out all of our judges and go through the schedule once, because I think it'll be useful to just get into. So we had a masterclass deep diving into the account aggregator architecture by Siddharth Shetty. We had masterclasses on the API sandboxes by Perfios, Yodlee, OneMoney, FinView, and NADL. We had, as I said, we had a session called Successful Account Aggregator Use Cases from the EU and Beyond by Lars Markel. We had a personal finance masterclass by Amit Bhor, who's the co-founder of Walnut and now in Capital Float, which is India's #1 PFM app, Walnut. We had a class on AA security, cryptography, and interoperability by Sasikumar Ganesan, who is a VP of security and platform at Orders Networks. They handle certification of the AA network. We had an insurance tech masterclass, which was very popular, by Anand Datta, who is an ex-InsurTech executive who is now with Nexus Venture Partners. We had account aggregator UI UX design masterclass by Dharmesh Ba, head of research at D91 Labs and Setu. Lending in the world of account aggregators by Manish Bhatia of Lending Cart. Account aggregators and AI ML by Akash NS, which is who's co-founder of Jovian.ml, a really exciting developer tool startup. We had introduction to regulatory environment and two other legal masterclasses by Matthew Chaco from Spiceroot Legal. He was joined by Vinay Kesari, who is the general counsel of Setu, and they also discussed how to become an account aggregator and how to become an FIU. We had an introduction. We had India Start Masterclass and the role of account aggregators by Sanjay Jain. A market sizing masterclass about how big the AA framework can get. That was by Salil Ravindran of Medici. We had the impact of account aggregators on consumer fintech, a chat with Kunal Shah and Sumit Gwalani, Kunal Shah, founder of Cred, Sumit Gwalani, co-founder of Epify. We had a neo-banking and open banking masterclass by Ram Ganesh Iyer of Bain and Company. And yes, those are the masterclasses we had. In terms of our judges, we just like to shout out very quickly Nandan Nilekani for all his support. He was our keynote speaker. We had Kunal Shah, Shashank, co-founder of Capital Float, Mahesh, of course, Lalita Natraj, who is head of digital partnerships at IDFC Bank, Manish Bhatia, co-founder of FinView, Sanjay Swami, founder and managing partner of Prime VP, the founders of OneMoney, KP Atluri, the founder of CEO of CAM, Srikant Tanikela, Amit Jain of Sequoia. And I was going to name all of them, but I think I'd just like to say thank you to all of our judges. Their names are out there on the Sahamati website, and they've been amazing. We had mentors who, took great pains to educate and help our hackers throughout the time they were hacking. So Anand Datta of Nexus VP, Dharmesh Ba, Saurabh Panjwani, who's an iSpirit volunteer, and Ramanathan RV, who's co-founder of JustPay. So these guys all contributed a lot. And the reason why I went through every single one of the presentation and masterclass names is because all of them are available on YouTube. So the YouTube channel, we'll post the link here so you guys can check it out. But every single one of those masterclasses has been recorded, and you can watch it later. So that was in terms of education and innovation. In all of the AAs, by the way, were fantastic. So thank you very much to the teams at OneMoney, FinView, Perfios, Yodlee, and NADL. You guys put out sandboxes. You organized a bunch of events to support the hackers, answered all their questions, organized late night Google Meets, and importantly, you published several upgrades to your sandboxes. So I've seen so many new kinds of features and APIs entered into your sandboxes recently. It's been amazing. I know our hackers really appreciate it. Across the 46 projects that we had, this was the usage of the different sandboxes by the teams. So OneMoney, great job. You guys were very supportive, and everyone was great. OneMoney ended up having the most participation in this hackathon. But I think all the teams did fantastically well. In terms of community, we had 600 people in our hackathon Slack workspace, 150 memers in our meme contest channel on Slack, 81 memes submitted, of which we've selected 5 memes for our meme contest. We've also created an opportunity tracker, which is basically an opt-in Google Sheet in which hackers can sort of say, which team they're from, what skills they have, and what they're looking for. So if they're looking for funding, they're looking for a job, they're looking to hire people. There's also a tab in that spreadsheet which is for VCs or for companies looking to hire, where you can post what you're looking for, and our hackers can reach out to you. So I'll post the link to that in the chat as well. So do check it out so that we can kind of stay in touch and get new opportunities from this as well. And out of a poll that we did, the rating for our hackathon was 8.8. So thank you very much, guys. We're really happy with that. Coming on to the meme contest, we thought that it's really important to be able to synthesize complex topics and put them into easily understandable and relatable formats, which is why we had a meme contest to talk about account aggregators through the lens of memers. So we promised meme creators that they could win 5,000 rupees per meme, which we would select, and 5 memes would win. So I'm happy to present these memes to you now. So let's start with the first one. This is by Chetan. So please do spam your hearts and claps on AirMeet if you enjoy these memes. This one hits home a little bit because I'm sure a lot of the hackers watching this are feeling this right now. But I really enjoyed this one. This Pakistani guy is always gonna get a laugh from me. As you guys are doing right now, the tapping of smileys during AirMeet is definitely very popular. This explains the data flow in the AA framework really well, so we had to give this a mention. So congratulations to Hardik for this winning entry into the hackathon. And this kind of embodies how we will feel, at least I will feel after the hackathon. So congrats to Shubham on this winning Pablo meme. So once again, Chetan, congratulations. Jui, Abhinav, Hardik, and Shubham, you guys had the winning memes. We also had some honorable mentions for memes that kind of made us laugh a bit and are not getting 5,000, but instead are getting 2,500. So thank you for these memes. Sagar, this was I enjoyed this. Relatable to me as somebody who's like a novice programmer, but takes part in hackathons. So you can relate to this for sure. This again, I can relate to 100%. This is a picture of me taken from the future after this hackathon is over. Great job, Pradosh. And this, I think, reflects how many of you who are students in the hackathon sort of felt. So we felt your energy. It was amazing. All of you guys did a great job, and thank you so much. And congratulations to everybody in the meme contest. So that was the meme contest, and we're really happy with the way that turned out. Great job to all the memers. But of course, we're also here for some serious stuff, and that's for viewing the final presentations. So we have 10 teams that will be presenting today. What we're going to do is we're going to play a video for each team, which will be a 5-minute video, and the teams have been instructed to include everything about their pitch in that 5-minute video. So the problem statement, how they've solved it, all of those kinds of things. So there won't be any Q&A, and we have some judges at the back end who are scoring these presentations. So after all 10 presentations are done, we'll come back to you and let you know what the judges have decided and announce the winners. So best of luck to all the teams. I'm going to start with the first video. Before that, I'll just tell you who the judges are. We have in the background, we have Shrikant Stanikela, who is the CEO of CAMS, Siddharth Shetty, fellow at the iSpirit Foundation, Amit Jain, managing director of Sequoia Capital, Ram RV, who is co-founder of JustPay, Krishna Prasad Atluri, co-founder of One Money, Melissa Frackman, managing partner of EMVC, Ganesh Mohan, who's head of strategy for Bajaj Finserv, and Lalita Natraj, who's head of digital partnerships and payments at IDFC First Bank. So thank you all for being here to judge, and best of luck to all the teams. We'll be beginning with team ChainAim, and I'll be playing their video now. Just smash some emojis if you guys can see this. Awesome.
Hi, I am Satya Krishnasamy with Team ChainAim to present Vera Loans. 90% of small businesses are still not in the formal financial system in India, and Vera Loans addresses this problem for the segment that are in the low-end GST-paying businesses. These are typically clothing exporters, nutraceuticals, etc., who are squeezed heavily by bigger supplier companies. A majority of these entrepreneurs are still feature phone users. The loan helpers log in and start the initial loan application filing for the borrower, filling in the borrower details. The loan applicant typically needs help from loan helpers. Normally, they are their accountants for 5 to 10 lakh loans, or Kirana store operators for 50 to 10K range loans. They also explain the process to the borrower and get them set up with the account aggregator and provide the account aggregator ID for the platform. And they fill in the loan details and they send the consent request to the borrower.
Borrower receive a message from the account aggregator that I have a pending consent request on my platform. So I'll take out my phone and access the dialer application. Regardless of what phone I have, I just have to dial in this particular USSD code and hit call. As you can see, we have vernacular language support to support the cause of increased inclusivity in the consent flows so that everyone understands it. I'll go with English. I'll hit send. I'll confirm my language. And then we have two options: login and register. I'll log in since I already have an account. We have a support for 4 particular AAs. We have our API structure is aligned to OneMoney's API structure, and this particular user has OneMoney account aggregator ID. So I'll select select OneMoney and click enter. I'll enter the AA ID number excluding @OneMoney, and I'll hit enter. And then it asks for my passcode. Now we have 2 services available: consent management and account management. Since for this demonstration, we have to accept this pending consent request. I'll hit consent management, pending consent requests, and I can see the Vera loans consent request. I'll select it. I'll get all the details which are required: the period of data, frequency, data storage, account. And to accept the request, I just have to press 1, and to reject the request, I just have to press 0. I'll press 1 and hit send, and the consent request has been accepted. Now, if the user needs to do anything else, the user can dial in again and select the particular service. Thank you.
For the lenders, the platform has customized pre-configured templates for the data elements they need for the asset-based and flow-based categories and any derived tiering with respect to that loan amount. The platform supports view store modes to send the data to the FIU, but strongly promotes use only the data needed for intended use query mode for the next layer of lenders and passes yes/no binary answers to the lenders. Further implementations also could extend to zero-knowledge proofs, and the designs can be found in the architecture and design documents in GitHub. The platform, using the configuration, fetches the data from OneMoney account aggregator, from bank statements and GST, and additional verification sources from income tax returns and export bail verification. On the lender side, a white label service helps with full loan processing, which will have configured weights that can be changed dynamically for auto adjudication. Now, why is this important? For example, during April 2020, cash flow indicators could have shown unfavorability, but earlier audited historic asset-based metrics could identify genuine borrowers. And as these high-growth businesses resume out of the downturn, the flow-based metrics will be needed to continue funding their high-growth working capital needs that would much exceed their earlier audited performance numbers. Once these information are ready, the platform submits to the lenders to collect the loan offers. The loan application response is sent back to the loan platform. The responses are relayed to the applicant, and consent is taken for acceptance and term sheet of the loans. The platform charges a B2B transactional fee and also a lead generation fee. The platform also pays out a cut to the loan helpers for incentives for creating financial literacy and account aggregator ecosystem development. Thank you.
Amazing. So that was Team ChainAim with the product Vera Loans. Please do, show your appreciation with emojis if you like. We'll give the judges some time, in between sessions, just a minute or so to just gather their thoughts, and they'll be marking these in real time before we move on to the next team. Also want to say that every single interaction between the teams and the judges, so all 46 teams got 12 minutes to present to some group of judges in the hackathon. Those interactions are also recorded and available on the Sahamati YouTube channel, so you can check those out. Of course, this is also being live streamed on YouTube and will be recorded for later. So that was that's how you can see the sort of the feedback that the judges have is by going into YouTube and finding the individual team you're interested in, and you can see what they said to the judges and what feedback they got. So congrats again to team ChainAim and everybody who worked on this project. We now have Team Munch, so I'll be playing their video now.
Welcome to Munch. To start using this platform, we'll need your phone number. Use the one that's linked to all of your financial accounts. For example, we're going to check now if you already have an account available with our partner OneMoney. If not, you'll need to enter an OTP that we send you to register. We've taken a moment to explain who our partner OneMoney is and exactly how they and us are regulated to ensure complete peace of mind while using this platform. We now looked for all of your linked accounts to this number. As you can see, to begin with, you won't have any linked accounts. We've added in some sample data here, so let's link a few accounts now. To link an account, your bank will send you an OTP. You'll need to enter it here. Alright, we have our first account linked and it should show up in our linked account section. There we go. Let's add a few more. Notice how we've automatically discovered all of the accounts linked to your phone number from all of the banks in the ecosystem. Once we're done with this, we need consent. We've highlighted here exactly what data we need and for how long we need it. So when you're ready, enter the OTP code that OneMoney will send you. And there you go, you're in. As you can see here, we've highlighted your balance over the past 1 year. We've then categorized all of your spending as best as we could. Our machine learning model has an accuracy of around 65 to 75% right now, depending on the category. And we've also classified what we think are your upcoming expenses. These are transactions that have been recurring regularly month over month. Hence, we think they're probably upcoming this month too. The next page we have is our transactions page. These highlight your total expenses in the car that you see at the top, along with a breakdown of all of your recent expenses. Moving forward, our insights page. Here, after analyzing your transactions, we make a couple of cool suggestions that we think you'll really appreciate. We've noticed that this particular user has spent quite a lot on Swiggy and that they'd actually benefit quite significantly from signing up to the Swiggy Super program, hence we suggest it. We've also realized that people really don't talk about money enough and that often leads to them being shortchanged. Take for example how much you pay for rent. Depending on your city and your area, you may not know what the average is if you don't ask around. And you may already be overpaying for it. We can help you with this. Use our quick rental tool to figure out if you're overpaying for rent depending on your area. Similarly at work, you might find that you're being underpaid for what you do and how much experience you have. Give us the required details that include the company that you work for, your experience and job title, and we'll match you up with a range of normal values for that particular role based on averages that we have both through other users of the platform and national averages that are available from other form and job title. And we'll match you up with a range of normal values for that particular role based on averages that we have both through other users of the platform and national averages that are available from other sources. These estimates will get more accurate as more users sign up to use the Munch app. Moving on. We have set a few budgets here. These budgets are
Hey, sorry guys. So it looks like the stream froze, and I think that could be because I just checked, and I think that there was some corruption in the video file. But don't worry, because I have a working copy of the video, and I can play that for you right now. So just give me a second, and I will get that up for you guys. Because Team Munch should definitely have their full video play. So let me just share my screen and play the video.
Welcome to Munch. To start using this that you see at the here, after analyzing your transactions, we make a couple of cool suggestions that we think you'll really appreciate. We've noticed that this particular user has spent quite a lot on Swiggy and that they'd actually benefit quite significantly from signing up to the Swiggy Super program. Hence, we suggest it. We've also realized that people really don't talk about money enough, and that often leads to them being shortchanged. Take, for example, how much you pay for rent. Depending on your city and your rental tool, to figure out if you're overpaying for rent, depending on your area. Similarly, at work, you might find that you're being underpaid for what you do and how much experience you have. Give us the required details that include the company that you work for, your experience and job title, and we'll match you up with a range of normal values for that particular role based on averages that we have both through other users of the platform and national averages that are available from other sources. These estimates will get more accurate as more users sign up to use the Munch app. Moving on, we have set a few budgets here. These budgets are simply sample budgets, and the existing transactions that have already been recorded are measured up to these samples. You, however, for real, will probably need to add your own in this case. Moving on, we have all of the accounts that you saw as previously linked. They've shown up here along with the totals in each of the accounts. You can use the Link New Account button at the top to add any additional accounts you haven't previously linked. Note that you'll need to give us consent again after you link a new account. That's all. Enjoy.
Okay, sweet. So I hope you guys saw that and it worked in the end. I really love that product. I would be a user of that product, and I think Team Munch, you've done a fantastic job. So congratulations to everybody from Team Munch. We're going to give the judges a minute or so in between videos, but judges, sorry, but you guys also have to be quick about the scoring because we'll only be taking a brief interlude between the videos. So I want to take this opportunity to share the opt-in tracker sheet in the chat. So if you would, as a participant in the hackathon, like to showcase your work or ask for help, maybe if you're looking for a job or you're looking for mentorship or you're looking for funding, you can mention that. If you're a VC or you're an employer and you want to find talent, then you can use the sheet for that as well. So I'm just going to put that link into the chat and you guys can all check it out. Okay, super. So we're going to move on to the next team. The next team is Team PaisaBazaar. So I'm going to play their video now. And just let me know in the chat if something goes wrong. We'll fix it.
Hi, we're Team PaisaBazaar and we are going to talk about Smart Match, a market-changing solution using the account aggregator's infrastructure. But to get a bit of perspective, let's go through the problem statement first. PaisaBazaar is a lending marketplace where we get inquiries from each and every segment of customer. Through millions of conversations with these customers, we notice that the most important and frequent question in the customer's mind while visiting our platform is, who will give me a loan? Bhai, loan kahan se milega? Currently, we see a loan approval rates ranging between 30 to 60% depending upon the segment. Major reasons of rejections are either lower credit scores, lower income, or high leverage. This is primarily because of two factors. First, the current matchmaking between a lender and a borrower is completely ad hoc. It depends entirely on either human intervention, a customer's bias towards a brand, or any special pricing being pushed. The second factor leading to rejections is that lenders' scorecard details are completely confidential and not shared with anyone. What does this mean? So let's say in the event of a rejection, a customer ends up applying to more lenders in search of a loan. And this works exactly opposite for them. With each application and rejection, even the credit score dips lower and further reduces the chance of getting the loan. This gets very tricky. In order to match each customer with the right lender, we plan to create an ML-based model called Smart Match. This uses past customer data to identify the chances of approval for each lender and customer combination on the basis of multiple data points like demographics, employment, bureau records, and financials. Today, bureau data is easily accessible and the output format of this data is structured and can be used at scale. But accessing financial data does not enjoy the same merit. For example, take the use case of evaluating digital bank statements. There are existing technical solutions available which help in accessing digital statements, but we see loads of challenges when we look at this from a customer lens almost on a daily basis. Like accessibility, about 15 to 20% users do not have access to digital bank statements. They use passbooks. Or how about security? Majority of users don't want to share their net banking credentials on a third-party platform. I know I don't. And then there's availability. Users are many times unsure of the process of how to even access their statements or end up losing their login credentials even. The account aggregator infrastructure solves all these challenges beautifully from the customer side and will help in giving data in a much more structured format which can be industrialized. Wondering how this would impact the customer? We calculate an increase in loan approval rates of at least 25% due to customers getting the right offers in their first move. We also see reduction in turnaround time by at least 20% due to the first time right applications being submitted. And with the high efficiency in the entire process, we also expect significant cost reductions for lenders and platforms. Now let's quickly move to the demo. For this demo, let's have a look at how account aggregators can help customers on PaisaBazaar's personal loan product. As the user fills some mandatory details on the website, we build a profile for him or her that loan providers use to assess the applicant's eligibility. Paired with the user's credit score, we run real-time calculations and show the chances of approval for their loan application for each partner. Once a loan provider is selected, the user will need to provide their bank statements as income proof in order to complete their application. This is where we are introducing Smart Match. Smart Match takes the user's banking data for the last 6 months and then recognizes the income fields in the statements along with other debts being serviced like loans and EMIs. This data is matched against past applications generated at PaisaBazaar where customers have already availed over 7,000 crores of loan disbursements. Based on the advanced machine learning systems, Smart Match grows in intelligence with every income detail we receive and helps a customer as well as the loan provider to take decisions in real time, like the possibility of getting a loan, increasing or decreasing the interest rates, or even changing the max possible loan amount that the customer can avail. The true power of this feature comes out when a user is not eligible for the application of choice. By utilizing Smart Match, the user does not need to face a hard rejection. We can help customers switch loan providers instantly, where they are not only better educated about their choices and limitations, but are also more likely to get a lender that will actually service their needs. In this demo, as you may have noticed, we have introduced Smart Match at the end of the application process for the customer. As Smart Match gains efficiency with data, it gets more accurate with the number of users it has access to. When this happens, we intend to move Smart Match to the front before the user even sees the loan offers, so that when he or she reaches the offers section, all loan providers and terms of loans are not only accurate for that user, but we can also ensure a higher probability of success for the loan disbursement.
Awesome. Congratulations, Team PaisaBazaar. Anuj and team, you guys have done a great job. All three presentations, ChainAim, Munch, PaisaBazaar have been fantastic. And to be honest, as one of the organizers of the hackathon, I'm so proud of every single team, what they've accomplished. You guys are really pushing the envelope and helping us move this entire ecosystem forward. It's going to be better for customers, better for account aggregators, better for lenders and banks, and just creating a better financial ecosystem. So thank you, all of you. I like the music as well in this video. I don't know if you guys it's very like I don't know, that Muzak sort of music, which is, I don't know, maybe programmed to make your mood better or something, not sure. But I'm buying time for the judges to make their score, so I have to just say something. We'll be moving on shortly to the next presentation, which is a presentation by team Finarkein. So I'll be playing their video in a moment. I'll just take a second to digest that video by PaisaBazaar. Awesome. So we're going to dive in to the next video. The product is called Flux by Team Finarkein.
Hi everyone, Nikhil here from Team Hackathon. We've built Flux, an innovation platform for query execution. So here's a brief overview of Flux. Flux is a data processing and enrichment platform. It connects diverse data sources to bring data from account aggregators, databases, files, and more. Once fetched, Flux transforms the data for action. FIUs can run analytics on this data by building out the ideas in the form of logical pipelines and triggering them as and when required. And let's talk a bit about security. We have paid special attention towards security, transparency, and privacy in our design. And to that extent, we have provided an audit tool, TLS 1.3 encryption, and more. So as you saw with Flux, data is not just being fetched and collected from different sources, but also converted into powerful Flux frames through which the possibilities are endless. Our security by design allows us to provide flexibility in the input and output as per the user's choice. Our data security protocols at both ends ensure that data is being accessed, processed, stored, and used in an intended manner. Having said that, here are some operations that we support today. As you can see, the list is pretty extensive, but it is growing every day, and we of course intend to add more IO operations, more transformations, and more ready-made pipelines out of the box. So for today's demo, we have prototyped many PFM and credit pipelines on Flux, and two of which we would like to demonstrate today. So let's quickly see a typical categorization use case. So I'm going to rush through this, but you can see our previous presentation on YouTube on the Sahamati channel to understand what's happening here. But basically what I'm doing is I am specifying my source, and as you can see, it's pretty intuitive. We want to use categorization on it. On the narration column, we have a out of the box categorizer there, but it can just, you can just easily plug in your own categorization logic there in form of some kind of deep learning text classifier if that's what you want, with some fancy feedback loop. You can do that as well. There can be there's a webhook where you can publish your information and Flux would subscribe to it to bring that information and make your pipeline more adaptive and learning. So what I'm doing here is that I want to build out that fancy pie chart for categorization. So I'm selecting the columns I want in the output, and I am going to save this. So let's save it here. Yeah, that's it. So how would you trigger this from production? It would look typically like this, where you pass us the authorization headers, and in the body what you just provide us is the consent ID that you already have for the user and the data range, and that's it. We will do the rest. We will execute the pipeline for the array of consent IDs and data ranges you pass to us. We also have a monthly disposable income pipeline which we have built, which does the same thing pretty much, except it has a fraud filter as well, where we are using the Benford's law statistical function that we are providing out of the box to identify fraudulent transactions, and then we are averaging out the transactions over the time period that is given to us and subtracting it to calculate the monthly disposable income, right? So let's quickly see a demo. So we have already prefetched the data from OneMoney, decrypted the XML, and we have run the monthly disposable income pipeline on 2 years of data, and this was the value. Yeah, pretty low, but hopefully that'll change. This is my data, by the way. So let's go back to the slides. So yeah, this is how Flux would look like in production. Yeah, you just pass the pipeline ID, we do the rest, and you get the output. So because of the way we have designed Flux, it can just as easily function as a virtual data room as well, where data and pipelines meet in a secure, containerized Flux environment. So to summarize, Flux has Flux fibers, which provides connectivity to data sources, easy data blending, defined standard operations to build out queries, a cool no-code, low-code experience, and of course an analytics engine that can deliver the most complex use cases easily. While building Flux, we have kept ease of use as one of our core pillars, and that has driven the Flux experience. It is an evolving ecosystem, and we realize that there are some entry barriers, which we hope Flux can help out with. So yeah, thank you for your attention. This was a fun 5 minutes. To sign off, I would like to say we want to do what 3D printers has done for creators, make them build out their creations just as easily. Thank you. You can reach us at hello@finarkein.com to connect further. Bye.
Amazing. Congratulations and thank you, Team Finarkein, for that. So while we give the judges some time to just appreciate and process that presentation, I'll just do a quick sort of summary and recap of what we've seen so far. We saw team ChainAim present their product Vera Loans, which basically was aiming to. They had a product which they believe that a lot of loans get distributed through helpers or business correspondents, and these people go out and onboard borrowers on behalf of lenders. So they built an app that helps them to facilitate this and to also use USSD support. So that people with feature phones can also give consent, share their data, and get better financial services. We had Team Munch, which built a PFM app for categorizing your spends, taking actionable insights. We had Team PaisaBazaar, which created an interesting product native to PaisaBazaar, which would help their customers find out which loan they had a chance of availing, so they didn't waste their time and get hard rejected. And now, of course, we had Team Finarkein. So I'll talk a little bit about Team Finarkein's product and why, because it's a product which we actually had requested from the ecosystem. So part of the beauty of the account aggregator framework is that it allows selective sharing of data. What I mean by that is, imagine that you're going to the US and you need to submit some documents to the US embassy for your visa. They ask you for your bank statements for 6 months. Why do they do this? They do this because they want to know that you are in a financial position to come back to India and you're not going to stay there as an immigrant and mooch off their welfare system. So they just need to know your financial standing. They don't need to know every single transaction that you made for 6 months. Maybe you have a sensitive, visit to a sexual or mental health clinic in that in your bank statement. Maybe you don't want to reveal these things. How can we create a system where the power of revealing or sort of choice lies with the customer, so they can selectively share things? So we requested teams in the hackathon to work on solutions that could help enable this reality through different methods. So one method is a query layer by which you can sort of ask for some data to be shared, for example, with the lender or with an embassy, but you can filter what data gets shared. So for example, the lender embassy doesn't need to see, as Finarkein was pointing out, all 10 of your top 10 Swiggy transactions. They can just see the top 5 after it goes through a filtration and querying process. Or another thing which we requested from the community was a virtual data room, which is basically a secure environment in which like a lender or some person wishing to execute code can bring their code, and on the other side, some the person can who's providing the data principal can bring their data, and the data principal, for example, the bank statement can run on for let's say like a underwriting model. Can this happen in a secure environment such that the person bringing the data cannot see the code, which could be a proprietary algorithm by the lender, and the lender cannot see the data which is brought by the customer, which could be sensitive data? All that each party will see is the output of this data. So this is another thing which we requested the teams to work on, and 3 of the teams have worked on it. So that was Team Finarkein's attempt at cracking this problem. So thank you for that. Another thing which we requested from startups was actually, can they make consent journeys more accessible? So, for example, what Team Vera Loans did with their USSD product, can we make this ecosystem more inviting and accessible for low literacy users, or for non-English speaking users, or for non-smartphone using users? So this is another thing that we requested the community to come up with, and you will see some more projects which fall into that category. So that was Team Finarkein, and we have our next team coming up now, which is Team Param Network. So I'll be playing their video.
Hello everyone. Today we're going to look about Param. Param is a blockchain-based B2B commerce collaboration platform, a peer-to-peer and a serverless application, where we are using account aggregator framework to bring electronic proof of payment and enables corporates to bring real-time reconciliation of the payment. Today, all major enterprise softwares, ERPs, works in silos. Although every commerce transaction involves not just one party, more parties like your suppliers, vendors, customers, banks, and exchange documents across enterprises, multiple documents exchanged across enterprises. There is no standards for the document that gets transferred. That causes a huge data entry and validation process wherein any data document is being exchanged. One such large problem is B2B reconciliation, as there is no trustworthy solution that exists in the market to authentically confirm the payment initiation with the financial institutes to the suppliers on a real-time basis. Param is a blockchain-based WhatsApp-like collaboration platform mainly used for account payable, receivable automation. we have integrated the account aggregator based solution for instantly notify the payment initiation to the supplier, and the supplier can independently validate the payment and share a real-time confirmation via our application. This completely eases the cash management problem, workflows, and faster collaboration. This is our Param blockchain wallet, where we can share contracts, purchase orders, invoices, and payment details in an electronic and a standard format across organization. Every individual gets a unique identity, and they can configure the AA details in the settings as a one-time activity. So the consent can be given as a one-time activity in the account aggregator config, and the same can be updated. So let's actually take an example quickly of where a customer who has actually received the invoice from Param network, and Akshay Kumar, who is a customer, has received an invoice 003 through the platform. So the invoice is shared to Akshay Kumar, and the moment Akshay Kumar received the invoice, he can actually, with a click of a button, confirm and create a payment. So when he enters the payment details confirmation, he can actually give a consent using a AA framework. And today we use OneMoney for the API, account aggregator API. So the consent can be added, and he can go to the OneMoney application and give the consent. He can see the list of consent and give the consent for Param network for this particular invoice. So every consent is validated and authenticated using an OTP. So the moment the approval is provided, the consent ID is mapped and the payment details is transferred to Param on a real-time basis with the consent. So if you see here on the Param account wallet, so this is a Param Networks wallet, and he can actually able to see the payment that he has received, and clicking on that payment, he can see the complete information and validate the transaction using the AA framework. So the moment the transaction is validated, he can able to see the complete bank statement, which is actually given as a consent by Akshay Kumar, and that he can verify whether the transaction is paid or not. So assuming the debit card payment of 4101 is paid, so now the payment is made, and record that the payment has been received. So this instantaneously generates a digital receipts and sends to Akshay Kumar on a real-time basis and provide a real-time confirmation. So let me pause the screen here and show the reconciliation tab of Akshay Kumar and how it looks on a real-time reconciliation. So here we are seeing Akshay Kumar's dashboard, and he can able to see what are the total purchases he has made from Param network, and how much invoice is generated, how much is paid, and how much consent that he has given. The same dashboard is also available at Param network's end, where Akshay Kumar will be one of the customer, and he can able to see the complete transaction on a real-time basis. So we are solving a B2B reconciliation problem with account aggregator framework using Param.
Super. Thank you and congrats Team Param Network for that awesome video. So I just want to let the judges know, while you're scoring this, there is a concurrent Zoom call happening for just the judges to discuss. So in case you are a judge and you're watching this and hearing this, please check the emails from me, and there's a Zoom call happening which you can join to discuss these projects with your fellow judges if you'd like to do so. It's optional. In terms of the audience, we'll do a quick poll to see if you guys are awake or not. So let me wait. What is this? Let's do it. Starting the poll. Okay, great. Everybody is awake. Awesome. So super. So the next team that we have presenting is Team AA-dhaar. So it's capitalized AA-dhaar. And incidentally, capitalizing double A's and making jokes out of it is something which I know because my name starts with double A. So Shashank from Capital Float calls me Aryaman with 2 capitalized A's because of obviously my association with the AA network. And again, I'm just buying time for the judges. So in case I say something harebrained, just forgive me while we buy time for the judges. So we're gonna go ahead and play the video now for Team AA-dhaar. So I'm just gonna play that now.
This is Team AA-dhaar. A demo for our virtual data room solution called Dart VDR. Here is the team that made it possible. Darshan, Saikat, Kunal and I, Palash. We never met each other before and came together during this hackathon. Dart VDR is a virtual data room in the account aggregator framework. The FIU can run its algorithm on a user's FIP data in a secured, isolated environment. No information exchanges hands and nothing is stored in the virtual data room. Our solution can be scaled to support complex and heavy workloads involving machine learning algorithms. We propose that the virtual data room should be hosted in the AA. It is the most trusted entity in the entire AA framework. RBI regulations that prevent AA from accessing data are satisfied in our solution. We also propose a new consent type, virtual data room, to further restrict access and frequency. This is how Dart VDR works. The FIU sends their algorithm to Dart VDR. Once the algorithm is saved, it can be used multiple times. They can only fetch data from an allowed list of providers like OneMoney, Finvu, and other AAs. Dart VDR restricts the response from a function to an approved format consisting of booleans or a predefined list of items. No personal identifiable information is sent by Dart VDR. Dart VDR is available as a UI console, a command line tool for CI/CD and automation, and as an API. Let's look at the UI console. On the FIU side, the FIU can create functions and jobs. Functions are code submitted by the FIU. Currently, our solution supports the AWS Lambda spec. In future, we plan to support Docker container. A FIU must provide their runtime like Java, Python, etc., along with the entry point to the function. A valid JSON schema is also required for response validation. These functions are reusable by the FIU. There are functions that have been previously created by FIUs listed, and they can reuse them and create new jobs using them, or they can create a new function. Let's try to create a function. The function that I'm going to be submitting just checks if the user has a balance of more than 4,000 rupees in their account. Hit submit. It says function submitted. The function has been created. The functions are run in a private subnet in AWS. All the outgoing traffic is filtered using a Squid forward proxy. This is configured through CloudFormation. We have OneMoney, Finvu, and Amazon AWS listed right now. The JSON schema is provided here, and because it was valid JSON, it has been allowed. We apply these 3 restrictions on the JSON schema. A new job can only be created when the status is green. A job is a request sent by the FIU to process data using a previously submitted function. It should be scheduled only after consent is received from the customer. Consent ID, consent handle ID, and AA ID are submitted as part of the request. The function status has turned green, so now we can submit requests against the new demo. We can go to the jobs page and create a new job. We select our function demo and we generate a new consent request. I already have a balance of 7 rupees in the account, dummy data, and start the job. It's turned green. You can go and check. The result is false because I have less than 4,000 rupees in my bank account. The response has balance, matches the JSON schema that was provided for the function, and hence it was allowed. The function in this case exposes the user's name, date of birth, and email. We provided a malicious handler and hit submit, and the function is scheduled to be created. After the function is created, we can create a new job. And the job has been submitted. Because this is malicious, we are hoping that the JSON schema validation will prevent the response from coming back. The response has failed. We are requesting has balance to be a string. Function status failed because of invalid JSON schema. The same things can be achieved by a CLI. Start dot waiter login. You can submit a new FIU ID on the UI to login. Dot waiter create, and you give it a function name. Let's look at the list of functions. I'll deploy the newly created function testCLI Dart. testCLI Dart shows up in the pending state with a yellow status. Also, the deployment is successful. Here is an overview of our tech stack. There are 4 APIs which can be used to interface with the virtual data room. Create function, get function details, create job, and get job details. A new function is created by calling the create function API. The JSON schema for the function response is validated against the rules. A new row is added to the Postgres table, and the code sent by the virtual data room user is stored in a S3 bucket. As soon as the code is put in the S3 bucket, it triggers the creator lambda. The creator lambda creates a new AWS lambda for the code sent by the user and updates the status in the Postgres table. A status lambda is triggered on a cron, which checks the status of the newly created lambda function and updates it in the table. The function status can be checked by calling the getFunctionDetails API. Once the function is ready and consent is obtained by the customer, the createJob API can be called to create a new data request job. A new row is added to the Postgres table. The executor lambda queries the table periodically for a pending job and calls the corresponding function in the AWS lambda with the job parameters. The function can make outbound HTTP calls to a small list of allowed domains. No data is stored or accessed by the virtual data room. The data acquired to perform the data request cannot be sent back to the requester. On completion of execution or failure, the executor lambda validates the result against the JSON schema provided by the function and updates a row in the table. The user of the virtual data room can call the getJobDetails API to check on the status of the job and retrieve results. Some of our future plans include a marketplace of functions and trained ML models. We also want to add Docker container support in addition to serverless functions. Quite a few cloud providers are beginning to offer confidential computing VMs as an option to run enclaves. Google Asylum framework is very promising. We were able to run Pioneer crypto system but would like to further explore capabilities of fully homomorphic encryption offered by Microsoft Seal and Palisade. Thank
Super. That was really cool. Congratulations, Team VDR. I mean, I love the ASCII art and the command line interface. I love the name. And the idea of this marketplace for ML functions and models is super interesting as well. So it appears that we had some issues during the streaming of the video. So I want to do a quick poll. If you are in Team AA-dhaar, don't answer this poll. But if you are not, then please do answer this. I'm just writing it down. You should see a pop-up. Please do answer the question. Okay, this is moving very dynamically, but it appears that over 80%, more than 85% of viewers saw the whole video. So I'm going to assume that was the same for the judges, and I'll just request the judges, if you were not able to see the same video, the entire video, please don't score it, and we'll make sure to average out your scores so that every team gets obviously a fair shot. So if you think you're not in a position to judge this, please just mention that, and we won't include your points. But I think it'll be unfair to show the same to the other teams, to show the video again, provided that most of the people saw it without any hitches. So apologies to Team AA-dhaar, but congratulations again. Your solution was really exciting. The next team that we have is it's called Team Swartz. So I'll be playing that video now. And once again, please do put some comments in the chat if you're not able to see the video. I think it could be a playback issue also, by the way. If you did have a playback or network issue, if you did have issues watching the last video, just refresh your browser once and you should be good to go. And ideally, you're watching this on Google Chrome. That's the browser which is most supported by any. So I'll give you a moment to just switch over and go to Google Chrome or refresh your browsers before we dive into the demo by Team Swartz. Okay, I'm going to start the video for Team Swartz.
Welcome to the demo product हाँ से आ तक by Team Swartz. The vision of the product is to demonstrate why the AA system's current architecture will alienate those who do not possess a smartphone, and also a small attempt by us to show how by decoupling it into two steps will make it more inclusive. Here we'll demonstrate this by showing how to decouple AA customer onboarding. So let's consider a farmer, let's call him Ravi, who wants a working capital loan to service his debt with the local money lender. He came in touch with the banking correspondent Siddhant, who guided him and made him understand by going with the formal lending institutions would be better for him. So Ravi agrees and wants to initiate a loan application. Now Ravi has a bank account with XYZ Cooperative Bank. Siddhant initiates loan application, fills details, and then asks for the bank statement. Ravi says it will take him a couple of days to visit the bank branch and update his passbook, and then he can bring it back. Siddhant now tells Ravi about the magic of AA. So he pauses the loan application of Ravi and initiates customer registration on AA. Let's see how that can go. So I, as a bank correspondent, will have this application through which I can register people like Ravi. So I enter Ravi's ARN number and phone number, and I click create. Basically, this ends the first phase of the onboarding process. During this time, I can explain the details and benefits of the account aggregator system. So to complete the onboarding process, we provide an IVR layer as the AA client. So we can use this IVR layer, which is again provided by the AA ecosystem itself. Let's see how that goes.
Welcome to Account Aggregator. Please enter 4 digits to set your PIN. You are now registered. Do not share your PIN.
Okay, so this was the essentially the second factor authentication part where the user can set their PIN. Next one, Ravi calls the IVR service again. He can get options just like an app provides. So let's see how that goes.
Welcome to the Account Aggregator service. Please enter your 4-digit PIN to authenticate. Press 1 to use your checkpoint number. Press 2 to review your pending consent request. Press 3 to review previous consents given. Press 4 to revoke consents. Press 1 to use your checkpoint. HDFC Bank wants to access your last 25 SBI Bank transactions. Press 1 to approve or 2 to deny. Consent approved.
So we break down the process as displaying the intent to register, followed by verifying identity and confirming registration. Finally, we want to stress upon the point that going ahead with the AA ecosystem the way we did with UPI might pose even more challenges for a large piece of India's population, and therefore an assisted attitude towards it is required. Also, while IVR is not the most convenient technology as per the user experience, but the fact that IVR is a mature technology and is being catering all of us for over a decade, from customer service helpline to doing bank transactions over IVR, makes it a good fit to start with assisted onboarding. So let's leverage the current infrastructure we already have. Thank you.
Okay, super. Please can we get your applause for Team Swartz? Really good use case in my view, and really proud of all the teams in Hackathon again. Would love to see something like this come to market and help the millions of Indians who are feature phone users come on board the account aggregator system. So that very use case that Team Swartz discussed can become a reality, and we can now actually have credit reaching farmers like Ravi more easily. So congratulations, Team Swartz. That was really good. I just want to remind everybody watching this that the entire video, so we've asked teams to reduce their videos for this presentation to 5 minutes. Some of them have slightly longer videos which are available on YouTube. So again, if you go to Sahamati YouTube channel, you can see the entire video posted by these teams, as well as the Q&A with the judges. So judges, for example, did have some questions for this team, so you might go and check that out later. Of course, for the purpose of the judging, we're just going with the videos which are sent in for right now. So judges, please do make your scores based on what you've seen in this video. That was Team Swartz. Thank you very much. We'll take a 30-second break where I'll just stand around here awkwardly, and we'll wait for the judges to enter some scores into the score sheet. Yeah, while we're waiting, I might as well tell you one of my favorite terrible jokes, which is that a man walked into a bar. He said, "Ouch. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Call my agent for booking inquiries." I'll post the link in the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you. Namaskar. So just give them a few more seconds for this. Okay, looks like we have the scores in. That was Team Swartz. Thank you very much, Team Swartz. Next up, we have Team Max Connect. I'll be playing their video now.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shiv Prasad, and I represent Team Max Connect. I'd like to thank Sahamati for giving us this opportunity to. When the hackathon started, for the first 2 weeks, we did a lot of research, and we felt Manrega program is an apt use case for us. Manrega program is the Government of India program. It's a welfare program which provides employment to people, and it's a very large program. There are about 282 million people registered as part of the program, and 130 million people are active Manrega workers. It also spreads across the country, so with around 270,000 gram panchayats, runs on 7,000 blocks and 696 districts. When we looked at the data points of the program, for example, a person who works from the 1st to 15th, there's actually a delay in payment. They get paid from T10 to T20. In some cases, it extends beyond that. Now, given the account aggregator and the consent model with the other ecosystem partners, we felt that we should do something for these people, bring them into the system. And this is how we are planning to do that. So this is Kavita Devi. She's part of the informal sector. She gets a job every day as a daily wage worker. She's not part of the ecosystem. There's no history of income. There's no bank credit. And her borrowing options are literally loan sharks right now. And what I'm showing you right now is a work order which Kavita Devi has worked on. If you look at the dates from 10th of March to 25th of March, she's worked for 10 days at a daily rate of 177 rupees, but she was paid on the 14th of April. So that clearly tells us there's a lag. And if you look at the month of July, she worked from 25th of June to 10th of July, and that was still not paid. So there's a 3,104 rupees which is outstanding, which is going to come into Kavita Devi's account. Now what we did is, how can we build that profile of Kavita Devi? So this is what we are doing. We created an application. She can select a local language. For this use case, I'll show you in English. She comes onto her app. She provides her job card number and her name. Now once that is there, we send an OTP from Manrega to her, so we know that she's a registered Manrega worker. Then we are taking a mobile number, send it to the bank, and the bank would provide us data, OTP, to know that yes, she's having an active account. Now here we are handholding her through a loan process. It is a very simple process. Registering her is the first step with an account aggregator. One Money is a preferred account aggregator. So we'd handhold her to register with One Money. And once the registration is done, we would take her consent, taking her consent to get the financial information from her bank account as well as Manrega. Now there are two things we are looking for. In the bank account, we want to know that there are previous transactions from Manrega to her account as direct benefit transfer, so we know that she is part of Manrega. At the same time, from Manrega side, we are looking at how much is the outstanding payment which is supposed to come into her account as cash flow. Now, given that these two data points are available with us, we can now send, with the consent of Kavita Devi, we can send this data to the lending community. Now, this lending community can be Oaken, it can be other lenders who want to participate in the system, and they can run their own algorithms and underwriting. We are basically gathering enough information to send it to them so that they can take a credit decision, a lending decision for somebody like Kavita Devi. Now, these are loans, so if you look at that, you are seeing the bank account, you are seeing the FTO number, the fund transfer number, how many days she has worked for and how much is the receivable. And once this data is there with the consent, we are basically saying, here's the information, send it off to the list of lenders. The lenders can then now calculate, do the underwriting on their side and answer back to us. And we are engaging Kavita Devi from our side, right? So there's a loan offer, so she picks a loan offer which gives us 90% LTV. It's a very standard loan offer. She accepts it. Once she accepts it, we are then asking her to set up an auto repayment, which is really important for the lenders from a collection standpoint. If she has a UPI address, we'll use it. If otherwise, we'll help her getting a UPI address. And once the auto repayment is set, the loan is disbursed in less than 5 minutes to Kavita Devi's account. I think this is the story which can really tell. And from our feedback, when we went and looked at data points, there were a lot of consumers, there were a lot of people. In fact, one of the 55-year-old man walked up almost 4 kilometers just to know when the payments are going to come into their account. The other important factor is we found that most of the borrowing they are doing today at a very high cost goes towards their medical expense. These are like out-of-pocket medical expenses. So given this opportunity here, we feel we are ready with the application, we have tested it, we can distribute this and reach out to people like Kavita Devi through an agent-based assisted program, through Gram Panchayats, through a community neighborhood program. And we also have a Kirana Tech application which will help people service it. It is assisted-based servicing. For a self-service platform, people can use it on smartphone. We are also working on a USD model for a feature phone. I think the key is not just giving the loan and forgetting about it. We actually take consent to monitor our account, and that account would help us monitor till the date the payment comes into her account from the Government of India. So for the lenders, they are literally secure that the payment is coming from Government of India in a future date, and once that is credited to her account, we can do a direct debit from her account to the lender. I would quickly run through what are the other things. These are the ecosystem partners. There are other things we are doing, Insta loans. We can do the same flow for SME-based lending. And these are the ecosystem players, right? We are powered by Google, and we had really good conversation there.
Sorry, Team Max Connect, I couldn't play the last 15-20 seconds of your video because the cutoff time was 5 minutes, and we've given each team only 5 minutes. So in the interest of fairness, I can't play the last few seconds of your video. Sorry if the viewers were really enjoying that, and sorry to Team Max Connect and to the judges, but we have to kind of give every team an equal footing. But I think you conveyed the point really well. I think it was an amazing presentation, and we saw lots of emojis. So I think it was really, really great. As Mahesh is saying in the chat, this is exactly what we're looking for. And maybe, in combination with some of the other projects and ideas, we can create a really accessible, secure, scalable solution for people like Kavita Devi or Ravi from Team Swartz. So really, really good job and fantastic work, Team Max Connect. So on a lighter side, while we give the judges some time to think about the scores, I'm loving this inspirational, uplifting music that you guys have put into the videos. If it doesn't work out for you in fintech, you always have an opportunity in film editing, I think. So good job to all of you guys. So the next team, I'm just going to check quickly on the judges. The judges need a second, I think. So I'm gonna hold on for a couple of moments. Okay, super. I think we're all set from the judges' side about this. And judges, just want to let you guys know that you can revise your scores. So at the end, after all these presentations are done, you guys can deliberate, discuss. You can revise scores, and then once you give your final scores, we'll compute the winners, and then talk about who wins basis that. So the next team that we have is Team Anonymous. I'll be playing their video right now. Please let me know if you have any issues.
Hi, we're Team Anonymous, and our solution is iConsent. It's a UI toolkit that all of the AAs can use to build inclusive and accessible consent journeys. Some of the crucial problems are being narrowed down on, whether there's a general lack of interest among users to read through consents before they agree to it. And even for the users that do want to understand these consents, it's still hard for them to navigate through the UI. And there's another segment of users who still feel not included enough to be able to use these modern apps. These are some real user comments that we got from our surveys. The first part of our solution is to solve for the low literacy band of users wherein multiple forms of content delivery is really necessary. So I'm gonna switch to our app. This is where a user will be redirected from an FIU, and you can see his link back accounts, and I'm gonna click through one of the consent. Initially, there are navigation cues that help the user to kind of get the sense of space. And then I'm going to play the video.
ClearTax wants to access your linked pension account details. The accounts that you're giving consent are SBI. ClearTax wants to view your summary data.
So as you just saw, this video was pinned out for this specific consent artifact. It walks the user through the specific details. It's a very human and assisted way of reaching out to the user.
Okay, looks like there's a bit of a playback issue, and when I upload these videos to AirMeet, they get streamed directly from the AirMeet server. So maybe there's an issue with the video itself. I'll try again for Team Anonymous. Give me a second, and we can see if we can fix this. So we're gonna give it one more shot, Team Anonymous. I'm gonna share my screen, and we'll try from YouTube.
Hi, we're Team Anonymous, and our solution is iConsent. It's a UI.
Okay, actually, I need to share that Chrome window so that I can also keep my eye on this chat to see if something is wrong.
Toolkit that all of the AAs can use to build inclusive and accessible consent journeys. Some of the crucial problems are being narrowed down on, whether there's a general
Wait, is it visible now? Okay, now it appears like it's visible. Can you guys hear me? Can you put some emojis or something if you can hear me? Okay, looks like we're back. Sorry, we had some technical issues there. I don't know what happened, but we're back, so that's the important thing. So the focus right now is to show you the presentation by Team Anonymous. I'm not sure. I'll try playing the video again from my side, and if it doesn't work, then we'll figure out another solution. So just hold on, and here's the video by Team Anonymous. Again, just please be active in the chat and tell me if something is wrong. We'll fix it immediately.
Hi, Team Anonymous, and our solution is iConsent. It's a UI toolkit that all of the AAs can use to build inclusive and accessible consent journeys. Some of the crucial problems have been narrowed down on whether there's a general lack of interest among users to read through consents before they agree to it. And even for the users that do want to understand these consents, it's still hard for them to navigate through the UI. And there's another segment of users who still feel not included enough to be able to use these modern apps. These are some real user comments that we got from our surveys. The first part of our solution is to solve for the low literacy band of users wherein multiple forms of content delivery is really necessary. So I'm gonna switch to our app. This is where a user will be redirected from an FIU, and you can see his linked bank accounts, and I'm going to click through one of the consent. And initially there are navigation cues that help the user to kind of get the sense of space, and then I'm going to play the video.
ClearTax wants to access your linked pension account details. The accounts that you're giving consent are SBI. ClearTax wants to view your summary data.
So as you just saw, this video was pinned out for this specific consent artifact. It walks the user through the specific details. It's a very human and assisted way of reaching out to the user. Even for other modern users who want to kind of quickly come to a text view, we've pulled card views and visual views that give a better sense of the data that they've come for. Now, the second part of a solution is that to solve for a literate user who's not necessarily tech savvy. It's really important to make the journeys accessible for such users. So some techniques used were like we went completely no scroll, which is kind of not falling back to the old form of showing terms and conditions, because it's completely intrusive and also not very useful. So the second core component of a solution is the native language component, which we've already scaled for 6 different Indian languages, and adding another language is just going to be about adding another config file. I'm going to switch to Hindi now and show you guys the level of translation. Even the queue would come in Hindi if it was, the browser language was in Hindi. I'm gonna play the video now.
Of India है. QuickBooks आपके लेनदेन और प्रोफाइल डेटा को स्ट्रीम करना चाहता है. 6 दिसंबर 2018 से 3 जुलाई 2020 तक का आपका.
As you just saw, all the audio and the minute details were fully translated. Even the card content is also translated so that the user gets a full sense that he's in a site that was fully built for him. Now, apart from keeping it accessible, we've also made it inclusive for people with disabilities. So what a person with a visual disability hears is what a person with a hearing disability would see. So this sense of sensory parity makes it inclusive for people with disabilities as well. The final part of our solution is to solve for people who don't read through consent before they agree to it. So I'm gonna switch to the different language. This is a very tricky problem to solve, and we followed a method of progressive disclosure, wherein we took question and answers so that the user is nudged to get answers to the question that they should be getting to. And in the case that they do go ahead and click on approve or reject directly, then we pull up a casual one while keeping it less intrusive, so that they are nudged to go back and read. And given that they do go back and read, then we also set a sense of appreciation that hey, you've read through it, and that's a very positive thought. Now they will be redirected back to the FIUs app to finish their flows there. We did get the chance to do a bit of user testing, and we found that 100% of our users were able to understand the consents that they were coming for, and also 55% of them who reached out to approve or reject directly were nudged and pulled back to read the consent details. And we also were able to see that 80% of our users reached out to the video irrespective of the target group that they fell in. Now, to go over our stack, we built a Python Flask backend, Vue, Netlify frontend. All of our open code is already open source. It's source and the packages, so that AS can quickly consume it. Now, our overall architecture was highly fully serverless and highly decoupled for cache, storage, and processing. So the overall cost to process 1 million consents is less than $100. The ultimate benefit of investing in this and solving the problems is that to get the benefit of trust and word of mouth from the users, considering that it will be crucial for all of the AAs that are rolling out in the next few months. We've solved for the account aggregator space. To go over the existing and future scope, from the audio that we got in the video generation component, that can be easily scaled to solve for feature phones or low bandwidth phones via automated, phone calls. And also chat is another possible component. Now there's also, other verticals that could come up, in other areas of interest with the same aggregator model. So this is a very, a solution with a good scale that, one of the reasons why we kept it open source and something that we really look forward to as well. So this is our team, and we thank for this opportunity, and thank you for listening as well.
Amazing. So that was Team Anonymous with their product I Consent. Really good stuff, and we're really excited about all of these products. Really, really good. On a side note, I can't wait until they do the first Oscars or something remotely on Zoom, and the hosts get frozen out and there's like a network issue and stuff like that. It's going to be fun to watch, to say the least. So we have a last presentation coming up in a second. That's Team Indecent Gradients. I'll be playing their video in just a second. We'll wait to see what the judges have to say about Anonymous. I'm just tracking their scores. So we'll give them a couple of minutes to do that. Until then, let's look at some memes. Why not, right? So let's jump into the meme contest. And I'll show you guys what these people worked on. So in the meme contest, this was pretty funny. We had a lot of PFM apps, but we also had lots of virtual data room products. So I enjoyed this one. This meme is a classic of this guy with the two girls. It's epic. There's another meme which had the same thing, and it just said account over here, and it said statement here and aggregator here. That was a great one. There was one which had fintechs over here and scraping here and account aggregators here. I thought those were all super. Again, making sort of light of the fact that there's a lot of PFM apps happening all over the place. And this one I found funny. This was just the caption was when customers reject a consent request. Quite jokes. Again, this one also I really enjoyed, and the caption for this one was FIUs telling FIPs. Since obviously AA is telling FIUs, my mistake. If AAs are data blind, they cannot see the data. Similarly, this guy cannot possess the data. So those are some memes that I enjoyed. And now we've successfully killed some time for the judges to do their scoring. So I think the scores are almost in for Team Anonymous. And as I was saying earlier, judges, we can always revise these scores later. So please don't think that you're bound to that score. You can change it. So I'm going to play the last video by Team Indecent Gradients. So here it is.
Hello, we are the Indecent Gradients. Our hack is aimed at providing a solution for the virtual data room problem where the FIU score is brought to the customer's data at a regulated third-party entity, thus eliminating the need for the FIUs to have access to the raw data itself. The FIU's code is executed on the data, and only the output or insights from the data is sent back to the FIU. Knox provides a secure cloud-based code execution environment to FIUs without the need to ever access, process, or store customers' financial information, thus completely doing away with the hassle of compliance with data persistence policies. FIUs can remotely upload reusable custom functions in JavaScript or Python onto Knox and directly execute on the FI data provided by financial information providers. This will substantially reduce the FIU's barrier to entry to the AA ecosystem. Customers, on the other hand, will always have complete visibility of the data flow and can trust that the data will always be handled responsibly. In order to build Knox, we propose the addition of a new regulated entity within the AA framework, namely the Virtual Data Room Provider, VDRP in short. This will allow for stricter storage and persistence policies to be applicable to such an entity, thus establishing trust. To support this new entity, we also extend the Rabbit API specs. So how does the data actually flow within this enhanced framework? To start with, the FIU uploads their custom code onto Knox. Assuming that a consent artifact has already been obtained by the FIU, they will then make a standard FI request with the Knox function details to the AA. The AA then invokes the function on Knox, fetches the data from the FIP, and passes it back onto Knox, effectively acting as a broker of sorts. Knox in turn computes on the data and returns just the output of that execution back to the AA. This ensures that the customer is always assured that the data is truly being processed by a VDRP and not an FI. The execution output can even be made available on the customer's AA client app for review. Finally, if Knox receives anonymized data in the first place, we can also ensure that it will never have any context with respect to which customer's data it is processing. Let's move on to the demo now. When you log in as an FIU, you are greeted by a dashboard offering a telemetric view of your resources. In Knox, functions are called actions. Let's create a new JavaScript action to check whether the average balance is greater than 50,000. Make sure that you enter a unique name for the action. Also, add sufficient timeout and memory for its execution. Finally, we add in the code and save the action. Let's test this action now. You can enter or modify the sample FI data on which you would like to test. As you click on the test button, it's important to mention that this doesn't directly call into the Knox backend, but routes the request to a mock AA that we have built in order to comply with our proposed enhancements to the AA framework. Everything else that you see in this demo is 100% functional end-to-end. Coming back to the context of testing our action, you will have noticed that new action execution has been listed. We will refresh this to take note of the changing action status. Ideally, this should change to the output ready status, at which point a notification is sent to the AA by the VDRP to fetch the output. Note that Knox actions can only accept and return JSON objects, primarily because the FI data is usually available in JSON and it is easier to enforce security controls on a JSON output. Knox enforces a strict Boolean-only policy on a function output, so only true or false answers are allowed. Now let's switch to a different action that has already been executed before. If I look at the details of a recent execution, you will see that there is an error. We actively check for non-Boolean values on the function output and invalidate them if required. In this case, the code tried to return the actual average balance. Users also have the ability to debug their code based on detailed logs as evidence from this Python action. In case you are wondering, Knox does not store any of the encrypted or decrypted FI in its database at any point in time as a strict non-persistence policies. Our next steps include providing a common actions library that FIUs can subscribe to as opposed to writing their own code. This will considerably shorten the time to market for new FIUs. This feature can be eventually extended to an actions marketplace. Ability to sequence multiple actions together is a feature that we feel will drive a lot of value for FIUs. Finally, we would also like to add an option to upload binaries directly onto Knox as opposed to raw code. For more details, you can check out our hack guide at this link.
Thank you, Team Indecent Gradients. Really nicely done. I really liked your deck and the way you laid everything out. That was superb. So that's it, guys. We have 10 presentations by 10 brilliant teams. Please show your appreciation for all these teams by spamming some emojis in the chat. Just a reminder, this session is being recorded. It will be on YouTube. The sessions that these teams had with the judges are also on the Sahamati YouTube channel. And while these are the top 10 finalists, I think that there are lots of really amazing teams that didn't present today, but who I think are really deserving of this podium as well, because they did fantastic jobs. Unfortunately, we couldn't accommodate them, but really what they did is noteworthy, and you can check out every single submission by every single team on the link that I shared in the chat. So, if you're, and by the way, thank you, Team Indecent Gradients and Anonymous also for open sourcing some of your code. So the code repository details, the YouTube videos, and a write-up about each project can be found in the link that I shared. We've had great sort of presentations from across the board. Different use cases, different problem statements, different kinds of teams. Really enjoyed the diversity in those presentations and the quality. So if you're a VC investor looking to get in touch with any of these teams, do reach out to me. If you'd like to hire or join one of these teams, again, reach out to me. The code base, as I said, is available publicly. And if you also want somebody to do commentary on your memes or host your virtual event, you can also reach out to me, I suppose. But we'll be taking before we take a quick break to actually tally up the scores and come back with the winning presentations, I'd like to invite BG Mahesh, co-founder of Sahamati, onto the stage to give a quick update about the ecosystem readiness. We've seen all these amazing projects which are built on these sandboxes, but what about the next steps, right? When can these things go live? With a brief update, here's BG Mahesh.
Very cool, sir. Thank you, Ariman. So you have been doing an excellent job, and I'm sure everybody here will agree with me. The last 4 to 5 weeks has been it's extremely good, and we all have been learning a lot from the good quality of the master classes. For all those who are not aware, we launched Sahamati exactly 1 year ago. It was on the July 25th of last year. It was launched, and the launch in Bombay was extremely successful. And if you had asked me 1 year ago, I would have never thought the first anniversary of Sahamati would be a rocking success. Thanks to everybody who was involved in holding that. And everybody has been asking us on how soon this ecosystem will go live. I would want to say that two of the account aggregators are expected to go live with their apps by the end of the month. The only thing which is stopping them is because they have just started their Sahamati certification, which we expect will be done in about 15 days. So after that, they'll be able to go live, and we expect about up to 4 banks, will be able to go live with their FIP and FIU in 3 to 4 weeks. So between now and October, almost every 4 to 6 weeks, we will have some event or the other. The first one was the hackathon, and Ariman has set the bar so high, so now, so every event after this has to be better. So it is better if he is in charge of, all the events, between now and, the consumer launch. So we are planning for the consumer launch maybe in September or October. Consumer launch is, mainly what we mean by it is the end, the consumers will be able to download the account aggregator app. They'll be able to use any of the FIU apps and actually see the data flow, apply for some, use like the good PFM apps, lending apps, and all of that. And, as you have been already informed that if any of you are interested to volunteer, contact us. I mean, if it is in the area of technical, security, product, branding, or any area, if you are interested, and if you are able to help us, we'll be extremely appreciative of it, because our aim is to ensure the account aggregator will reach the actual Bharat, by which the financial inclusion in India will increase a lot. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mahesh, for that succinct update. So as you guys heard, account aggregators are coming to you very soon with FIU apps, and this vision that we have of India being a data democracy with much greater penetration of financial services will be a reality soon. So stay tuned, and thank you also, Mahesh, for the kind words and for putting all that extra work on my plate. I was looking forward to a nice break after this, but I guess not. So what we'll do now is we'll take a quick break while we huddle with the judges and we figure out who will be receiving the final awards. I can't stress enough that I think every single team in this hackathon deserves an award, as do the judges, the mentors, the participants, everybody. But we will be distributing some awards. So there are going to be 5 awards for the overall 5 top teams, according to our judges. Each will get 50,000 rupees. There are also 2 awards which will be given to teams that worked on the special interest categories. So we've defined those for the teams. So the teams know which those are, but for the audience, basically it'll be something around accessible and informed consent journeys, making consent more accessible to people. security and query layers. Those are the broad themes. So a lot of the teams that you saw today are eligible for those prizes, and the judges will decide who gets those prizes. So allow us some time, and we'll be back with that update for you. Okay, guys, we're back. We just deliberated with the judges and they've made their decision. So before we announce the winning teams, we have a bunch of thank yous to say and a bunch of acknowledgements to make. Firstly, Team DevFolio. So these guys are an Indian company. They specialize in community hackathons, and they've organized some of the best hackathons out there. The largest Ethereum hackathon or blockchain hackathon in India, one of the largest hackathons ever in India called In-Out. And now they helped us with this, and they did everything for us free of cost. They've been a huge, huge support to us. This would not have happened without them. So we have a token of our appreciation which we'd like to share with them, which we will share with them offline. But thank you to everybody from DevFolio. Please can we have some applause for them? Thank you very much, guys. DevFolio, you guys have done a great job. Secondly, AirMeet. AirMeet is amazing. Of course, it's a new platform. There are bugs. We've probably discovered 99% of all the bugs in AirMeet. But we still love it. It's a fantastic platform. It's done great for us. The team has been super supportive. I think it's important that we support a local Indian product company that's trying to take on these big giants and create like a really fantastic online events platform. So Team AirMeet, thank you. You've been amazing. Savari, whoever's on this call for support right now, thank you very much. Abhishek, we have another token of appreciation from you for you from Sahamati's side, which we'll be sharing with you. So thank you very much, Team AirMeet. Lastly, our sponsors. So this hackathon would not have happened without our sponsors. So we have Sequoia Capital, we have InvestNet Yodlee, we have Perfios, we have One Money, and we have Lending Cart. And without these 5 companies, this hackathon would not have happened. We really, really, really appreciate everything that our sponsors have done for us, and we'd like to invite them to say a few words. Unfortunately, Perfios and Lending Cart can't be with us right now to say a few words, but I'll be inviting our sponsors on stage to say something. Hi Arjun, can you hear me? Awesome, we can hear you.
So Aryaman, what did the fish say when it crashed into the concrete wall?
I would love to know. Please tell me.
Damn.
Okay, good. I like it. I like it. I can get
behind. We've all got so close to Aryaman over these 2 months that we feel so relieved that he's got a steady, non-paying job with iSpirit and is not intending to go forward as a stand-up comedian. Just kidding, Aryaman. You did a great job putting yourself out there. Not easy to keep this show running for the last 2 months and for today. Just love the way that you did everything. So, guys, please put a bunch of applauses and love emojis. Aryaman, super job.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Arjun.
And more broadly, would really like to, to call out a group that I'm so much in awe of, which is Sharad and his team at iSpirit, just for an incredible job they do in a model that is relatively unique in the world and is just so impressive. I worked with Sharad and Sid for some years now, and I'm just awed every time I meet them. And also to Mahesh and Sahamati in this short time to get us to this place and put in a core jigsaw piece of building this incredible public data infrastructure. Just hats off to Mahesh and Sahamati. Guys, please put some applause. Right. It was, as InvestNet Yodlee, we really were amongst the pioneers of data aggregation, PFM, etc. over the last 20 years. So it was an incredible moment for me on July 25th last year to see the 4 bank CEOs on stage and Nilekani presenting account aggregation. It just gave me goosebumps, frankly. This is such an incredible dream that is unfolding in India over the last 10, 15 years of this brilliantly designed public digital infrastructure. And it is a dream that can make a difference to so many people in our country, the disadvantaged, the underprivileged, those trying hard to make an honest living, those who have no safety net. There are just so many problems. And it feels such a privilege to be part of a community that is addressing these issues. I am awed by the presentations that we saw in the preliminary rounds and in the finals today. I think the brilliance, the passion, the creativity of all of you today and through the rounds in taking this infrastructure forward to translate this into end-to-end solutions for different constituent stakeholders across the community are just brilliant. And this was exactly what we were hoping for as this infrastructure was getting into place. So it's a very proud moment today to watch this range and diverse range of creativity on display. I think that we in the community who get the chance through Sahamati iSpirit should figure out how we can showcase all these 45 shortlisted examples to FIUs, FIPs, NBFCs, banks. Just let's find a platform to do so, because once people understand that these kinds of startups have happened, these kinds of models are in place, I think it can really accelerate our community. So with that, I just want to wish all of you success. You are all winners. Thank you for what you have done to take this dream forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arjun. Thank you. Really appreciate it. We also have KP, who is the CEO and founder of One Money, which is another sponsor. KP, if you'd like to say a few words.
Yes, thank you, Ariman. Greetings to the August gathering. While Ides of August may have some ominous ring to it, in India, August is a month of celebration of freedom. It is indeed exhilarating to be here, rubbing shoulders with each of you, dedicated to promoting information security and financial freedom, both of which go hand in hand. We are delighted to be with all of you, so dedicated to delivering solutions to those who need them most, by creating equality between two unequal parties in a fair and dignified process, where the consumer is respected and privacy protected, lender is assured of authenticate, complete information, enhancing credit quality. During the last 1 month, all of you have used the power of NBFC AA regulation, so well crafted by RBI, to create some amazing solutions for the consumer. Some of you are here in this finale, but those of you who are not here, remember that the real finale is in the hands of the consumer. Therefore, the race is not over yet. It is just the beginning. A is for inclusion, a demand for privacy and quality, a call for prudence and responsibility in the exchange of money with information to enhance economic activity. In this journey, together, we will make you, the fintechs, our engines. We will embrace you by being your partners, empower you with APIs and any tools you need, by being your co-creators and friends indeed. Tell us what you want and focus on what the customer needs. The consumer is looking for solutions that are an exact fit for their individual problems, delivered timely and are fair in costs, which protect them from the unknown and unexpected consequences. Thank you for joining the A team. We promise that we will exceed your expectations as team players, and together we will applaud when the consumer wins. Thank you all. Thank you, Ariman.
Thank you so much, KP. Thank you so much, Arjun. I'll be removing you from the stage now, but that was really beautiful, KP, the way that you made that allegory to August and Independence Day and the AA and financial freedom. And Arjun, what did the fish say when he hit the concrete wall? Damn. Wow, genius. I loved it. But in all seriousness, thank you so much, both of you. Thank you to One Money, which is KP. Thank you, Yodlee, Arjun, and also Lending Cart, one of the leading fintech companies in India providing loans to small businesses. Thank you to Yodlee, I said Yodlee, Perfios as well, which is another leading data aggregator. They're also an account aggregator. And lastly, Sequoia Capital, who all of you know. So Sequoia is hugely supportive of this ecosystem. This hackathon would not happen without them and our other sponsors. So thank you very much, all of you. Sequoia is actively looking at this space, and I've introduced many of you to their team already, but please keep plugging away, and I'm sure more intros will happen in the coming days and weeks. So thank you to our sponsors. We've thanked everybody else. Now, I guess the last thing to do is announce the winners of the hackathon. It's something I'm very reluctant to do. I don't want to do it because in my view, everybody's a winner, and I don't want anybody to feel excluded or let down. Really, you guys have done an amazing job, and I'm extremely proud of every single team, every single participant. However, in the end, our judges have made a call about the 5 top teams, and they've also given 2 prizes for special interest topics for teams that have worked on problem statements that have, let's say, socially beneficial outcomes or externalities. So the 5 top teams in the Sahamati Account Aggregator Hackathon 2020 are team, and please just keep a continuous stream of applause emojis going for this. The 5 top teams are Team PaisaBazaar, Team Finarkein, Team AA-dhaar, Team Max Connect, and Team Anonymous. You guys have all done amazing jobs, really great jobs, and your projects were fantastic. We also have 2 special interest topic prizes, and those go to Team Indecent Gradients and Team Swartz. So you guys, it's not a large amount, it's 50,000 rupees, but we hope that it means something to you, and maybe you can kickstart your journey into taking your idea to production and helping make this ecosystem richer and better. So congratulations to all these teams and to all the other teams, Param Network, Munch, ChainAim. You guys were really amazing. Please show some love for these teams. I think all of them were superb. They all deserve a place on the podium. They all deserve some prizes. As I said, there are many more teams which I haven't named today, which have done a great job. They couldn't present today, but they've done a really great job. So please do check out their projects, show some love, and be in touch with us. The Slack, we'll keep it open because why not? We'll keep making memes on the Slack. We'll also, I've shared a link to a tracker sheet as a reminder. So if you'd like to, offer your contact details, we're looking for, let's say, a job, you're looking for funding, you're looking to hire people, you can put that information out there. And then the people who participated in the hackathon, they can maybe answer this call, and you can connect with both people who want to hire and invest in hackathon participants, as well as hackathon participants can find mentors or find some teammates or something like that. So I'll share that opt-in tracker sheet right now. But otherwise, I think we're done. So thank you to everybody who made this event a huge success, in my view at least. On behalf of iSpirit, on behalf of Sahamati, we really appreciate it, and we're really proud of you and really excited by all your energy and talent. So please keep engaging with us, keep plugging away, and we're sure that we'll change this ecosystem together. So thank you so much, everybody. That's it. I'm going to press the end button when this hackathon is over. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all. If you want a prize, we'll reach out to you. If we don't, you know where to find us. So congrats again, everybody, and thank you.